Okay, for the introductions, halal branding is one several requirements established by industry players seeking to make a significant impact on the global market. Halal food has a strong inelastic demand from Muslim consumers as a basic necessity. Halal is a term used to clearly identify whether a product is livestock, processed food, or another consumption product that any Muslim can consume. The halal meat industry's system encompasses everything from good animal husbandry on the farm to post-slaughter management. The importance of animal welfare and anti-mortem inspection in reducing the likelihood of slaughtering injured or diseased animals, which may not only affect meat quality but also be unhealthy for consumption, was also emphasized. Malaysia is a Muslim country that was among the first to implement the halal certification standard. So the halal industry developed, giving Malaysia a comparative advantage in gaining global market share. Okay, next for the objective for our topic is, the first one is to study on the importations and exportation procedure for halal meats. Okay, and the second one is to determine the regulations and legal requirements for halal meat import and exports. Okay, and the last one is to investigate issues related to importation of halal meat.
Now I would like to present about importation and exportation procedure for halal meat. Import procedure. For import procedure, first the meat importer need to ensure that the meat to be imported has a halal certification from a foreign halal certification body recognized by JAKIM. Meat product recognized by JAKIM have been reviewed in detail from various aspects. Okay, importer must importing meat from slaughterhouse that have slaughterhouse recognition approval. JAKIM also will ensure that imported meat procedure carry out audits and recommendation on halal procedure that comply with Islamic law. Imported meat also need to follow the requirement of the Food Act 1983 and Food Regulation 1985. After ensure that the meat has halal certification, the importer need to submit an import permit from the Malaysia Quarantine and Inspection Service Department, MAKIS, and halal certification from a foreign halal certification body recognized by JAKIM before enter Malaysia. Importers can apply for an import permit from a approved slaughterhouse and listed in the e-permit system only. Then the imported meat must be inspected by MAKIS and the Royal Malaysia Custom Department at the entrance of the country. This procedure aims to ensure that no smuggling and fraud occur when meat is brought into the country. MAKIS and the Custom Department will check every detail required in terms of halal logo, import permit, and special logo affixed to the meat packaging box. And lastly, imported meat can enter the local market by following the control of product in the market under the Trade Description Act 2011. For export procedure, all exporters need to follow the general export procedure set by JKDM. Okay, firstly, the exporter need to make a pledge to the Royal Malaysia Custom Department, and then they need to make a classification of the goods to get confirmation on the goods to be exported. And then the exporter need to check whether the goods are controlled goods or prohibited goods for export. They need to confirm that the goods imported need to apply for export permits from other government agency or not. And then the exporter need to make a declaration and preparation of document for custom clearance. And then inspection of the goods will be carried out by custom officer to ensure that the export process comply with the law. And then exporter need to pay duty or cess for the exported goods before exporting it. After that, export goods can get customs approval to be taken out of Malaysia. And lastly, get custom clearance after all procedures are met. For halal meat, exporter need to follow all general export procedure and need to apply for export permits from other government agency.
Legal requirements for halal meat importation and exportation. The importation of halal meat will be managed by the Halal Food Control Division, which has the authority to carry out the task of controlling any halal meat imported into the country, which is in accordance with the order under Section 83 of the Emergency Order Halal Meat. 1998 Section 4, which only a person with a halal import permit and export permit for the exportation country can import and export meat. Meat and poultry items are heavily imported into Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC) countries and other Islamic countries. The requirements to secure valid halal certification of imported items is one of the problems that has produced confusion in the significant international market area. Requirement for the export of meat and poultry to halal importing countries. The halal certificate companies looking to export halal meat and poultry products must comply with rules such as the obtaining of specific certificates required by each country, among which is the halal certificate confirming that the slaughtering process was executed according to Islamic rites. Even though some countries' regulations for the import of meat and poultry are similar, particularly regarding the halal certificate, there is lack of standard in such matters, as each country has its own set of rules. Under the Animal Import Order of 1962, all meat and livestock were required to be halal, safe, and disease-free. The Department of Veterinary Services Malaysia imposes import conditions on certain types of animals. In practice, each consignment, which must be dated within 30 days of the import, namely, first, veterinary health certificate, second, meat inspection certificate, and third, halal certificate.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I would like to continue this presentation with the issue related to importation of halal meat. Malaysia imports more food products than it exports, particularly meat products. In addition to fulfill domestic demand, Malaysia is largely reliant on imports of lamb worth 879.4 million and beef for 2.2 billion. Malaysia only permitted the importation of beef from 28 slaughterhouses in Australia, New Zealand, Argentina, Brazil, Pakistan, and South Africa, as well as 11 buffalo slaughterhouses in India and Pakistan, according to Department of Veterinary Services (JPV) statistics. As the country's demand on imported food increases, certain issues about halal meat have arisen. The first issue raised was existence of cartels that carry out illegal meat smuggling activities. The cartel is suspected to be purchasing meat supplies from slaughterhouses in Canada, United Kingdom, Uruguay, Spain, Mexico, Bolivia, Paraguay, Hong Kong, and China, as meat supply from those countries does not have Malaysian official permission. For example, this unexpected problem happened on carton meat at a warehouse in Senai, Johor, which has been in operation for a few years. This occurs as a result of corruption provided by cartels to hide officials of certain agencies in order for them to pass inspections at national gates. Therefore, the responsible party should raise the authority body stop at all entries to prevent illegal meat smuggling. The second case with halal meat imports involved uncertified frozen meat sold under fake halal labeling. This issue is connected to the smuggling of illegal meat, where the warehouse was used to create fake labels and stamps, which were then put on meat packets before they were sold at the local market as halal meat. The cartel hid its activities by posing as a frozen meat provider. However, according to the Ministry of Home Trade and Consumer Affairs (KPD and HEP), no horse, kangaroo, or pork meat was discovered during the raid at the Sinai warehouse. Moreover, another issue that also occurred was the violation of the legality of slaughter procedures. The approval of the slaughter given and recognized halal by Malaysia will be suspended immediately if this halal slaughter procedure is violated. For instance, an Australian company with the authorization of the Halal Prosecutors Parent Agency has been exposed with proof of video footage, images, and witnesses who are part-time employees at the company that the company disobeyed the Standard Operating Procedures (SOP) of halal slaughter. Halal certification bodies in Australia responsible for halal supervision of slaughterhouse should carry out their responsibilities by conducting monitoring to ensure that this type of incident does not occur again, as well as to avoid losing their status as a JAKIM recognized halal certification body. Lastly, the issue that happened during importation are the risk of cross-contamination or violation of any Sharia rules. This might happen due to the extended complexity of halal meat supply chain before arriving in Malaysia, or because of the differences in regulatory criteria between exporting nations and Malaysian regulation. For instance, Malaysian Quarantine and Inspection Services (MAQIS) seized 4 containers in 2017 that were suspected of containing pig and mutton. As a consequence, the mutton became contaminated since halal meat cannot be transport with non-halal meat, as specified in Malaysia Standard 1500/2018.
Okay, for the conclusions, Malaysian halal meat products appear to be competitive in terms of high value added, high quality, differentiate or niche product using Malaysian own brand name with the world-class accreditations of food safety and quality. Malaysia's domestic market infrastructure and government policies must be strengthened. Other than that, raw material sourcing, effective monitoring of slaughterings and meat processing plants, increased inspection capacity, a more targeted and focused product approach, and a more active government-to-government approach in opening a new market, expanding market access may all need to be addressed first. Furthermore, before any meaningful export market penetration can be achieved with a great success, and overall improvement in product safety, quality, traceability, and halal assurance system must be in a place and test to work well in the domestic market.